worst act of deliberate cruelty that I've seen suing the police for 40 years.
The city of Fontana admitted no wrongdoing by the Fontana Police Department. They issued a statement on their website stating the settlement was simply a business decision.
A man named Tom Perez who called police for help thought his father was missing, but police came to believe he'd killed his father. And what happened next is stunning.
For 17 hours, Thomas Perez Jr. is questioned by detectives David Janis and Kyle Guthrie of the Fontana Police Department.
This interrogation by Fontana police lasted 17 hours. In the end, the man admitted to a crime he didn't commit that actually never even happened.
And your dog is sitting here looking at you, knowing that you killed your dad.
Even after detectives learned Perez Sr. was alive, they did not tell Perez Jr. Instead, they had him held for mental distress.
They 5150 have him taken to the mental hospital.
I don't think that the police department would say we did anything wrong. We were just attempting to get some information from Mr. Perez, and we were running out of things to say to him to try to get the answer about where his father was located.
How do police get you to admit to a crime you didn't commit? Well, they do this.
We just told you we found your dead dad, and you don't give a
your dad.
No, I did.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daddy's dead because of you.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
All this, and 71-year-old Perez Sr. was alive.
After spending over 17 hours being interrogated, Thomas Perez Jr. was willing to do just about anything to make it stop,
including admitting to taking his own dad's life. But there's a couple problems with that. One being, he definitely didn't do it. And the second, and I would argue more important fact here, is dad is not dead. He's doing just fine.
This is the false confession of Thomas Perez Jr. In August 2018, 53-year-old Thomas Perez Jr. and his dad, 71-year-old Thomas Perez Sr., were living together in a house in Fontana, California.
Both father and son are real estate agents. Jr. is also a contractor. He states during this time, they were renovating the home they were living in order to get ready to sell it, with Thomas Jr. doing most of the renovations himself. On the evening of August 7th, Thomas Perez Sr. went out to go grab the mail and take a little bit of a walk, but he never came back.
Both father and son live totally separate lives and just kind of do their own thing. So Thomas Jr. wasn't really that worried at first when his dad didn't come back right away. But by the next afternoon, he felt like something wasn't right. So he called the non-emergent line for the Fontana Police Department and reported his dad missing.
When that didn't work, he ended up calling 911, and the person who answered the phone was a community service officer. Her name was Officer Pena. Now, this officer they have answering the phone at the police department decided she didn't like Thomas's story. Obviously, pining for some action, she went and got her supervisor involved, and they drove over to Thomas's house.
So once at the home of Thomas Perez Jr., the community service officer's suspicions only heightened. This is the moment where shit starts to hit the fan. These community service officers go over to Thomas's house, who Thomas freely lets into his home and answers all their questions. But something just isn't right with these community service officers.
It's really concerning to me that he hasn't been back yet.
So they call Fontana detectives and have them come out. Shortly after they arrive, Thomas and the detectives go down to the Fontana police station.
Thomas continues to cooperate and answers all of their questions. And it's during this time, police are securing a search warrant for his home, which they obviously get. And it's while police are searching Thomas's home, they find some things that, well, pique their interest.
Police find a couple bloodstains in areas where renovations were being done on the home. Police then bring in cadaver dogs. They state the dog alerted to one of the bedrooms upstairs. By this time, it's already the next morning, August 9th.
That is when these two geniuses clock in and take over. They're detectives Kyle Guthrie and David Janis, and they suck. What do you think the first thing they did when they clocked in? They put Thomas Jr. in a car, drove him around the city of Fontana to tell us where daddy's buried. Fucking idiots. Fucking idiots.
So this shit show went on for hours. During this time, Thomas Jr. asked for his medications that he takes for multiple health conditions, and the police denied him. Once back at the station, Thomas states he asked detectives if he could leave. He also asked for a lawyer, and he claims the detectives told him no.
The detectives would then bring in a friend and business partner of Thomas Jr. to try and get him to confess. And that didn't work. So they brought his fucking dog. And this is a dog that both Thomas and his father loved dearly. Now, these detectives are obviously unethical pieces of shit. They told Thomas they were probably going to have to put his dog down because he witnessed the crime.
And your dog is sitting here looking at you, knowing that you killed your dad.
Detectives suggested that Margot might need to be put down after witnessing such a traumatic event.
Just wanted to hold her.
It's already been 24 hours since Thomas originally called police to report his dad missing, and he's been up this entire time.
Without his medicine, sleep, or food, Thomas begins to lose it.
I was now in their little box of horrors.
This is where detectives Janus and Guthrie say Thomas admits to taking his dad's life. But did he really?
Did you stab him?
I didn't think that I did.
But if you did, where would you have stabbed him?
It might have been the belly.
From the transcript we read, there was some talk of scissors, but Thomas never clearly comes out and admits, I killed my dad.
But that is not what detectives write in their report. They state Thomas gave a full confession, which is a lie. Left alone in the interrogation room, Thomas is mentally broken by this point and tries to hurt himself. It's now the night of August 9th, and detectives do what's called a 5150 on Thomas. This is a psychiatric hold that's involuntary. They have Thomas transported to the mental health hospital and have him held for 72 hours. But guess what detectives already knew when getting this 5150?
They had already received a phone call that Thomas Sr. was alive. But they don't tell Thomas Jr. Instead, he's carted off to the psych hospital, and they take his beloved dog, Margot, over to the next county and turn her in as a stray at the animal shelter. Alcoholic behavior.
John Sr. was located at the airport. Apparently, he went out of town to some friend's house and didn't tell anybody. And he was actually taken into custody at the airport and driven back to the Fontana Police Station. After Dad was interrogated by the Fontana Police in the same exact interrogation room as his son, he tried to go see Thomas Jr. at the psych hospital, but they wouldn't let him. Instead, they blocked all incoming and outgoing phone calls and visits to Thomas Jr. at the psych hospital and waited 3 days for him to find out that he didn't kill his dad. His dad was still alive. One of his nurses finally broke down and felt like she had to tell him.
After spending several days at the psych hospital, Thomas was released. Then thankfully reunited with his dad. And remember their dog, Margot? They were only able to get her back when the animal shelter the police took her to scanned her microchip and realized she wasn't a stray dog. Obviously, Junior was pissed, so he hired a lawyer and sued the Fontana police and the detectives involved.
He would later accept a $900,000 settlement with the police department not admitting any wrongdoing. And as for those detectives, they have all since been promoted. Justice. The police never so much as apologized for what they did to Thomas Jr. Oh, and the police department tried to go after Thomas's lawyer because he released images of the detectives that were involved in the interrogation, and they felt like it blew their cover. But this is the same department that posted pictures of those same detectives on Facebook. This just shows you what we're working against here.
What do you think? Is $900,000 a fair settlement in this case? Let us know in the comment section.
Our channel is Dark Times with Nico Inside. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you don't mind subscribing to our channel, that would be awesome. It does not cost you anything, and we will see you in the next video.